A recent update has revealed that if you break the user agreement on your Switch 2, Nintendo has the ability to brick your system from far away. That's right, the Nintendo Switch 2 that you will end up paying $450 for, they can take it away from you. Not by literally going into your house and taking it from you, but they have their kill switch and they'll use it if they want to. Let's get into it. Some people will say there's nothing wrong with that they can get away with it. I don't agree with that. Now, I do agree that a company has every right to protect their IP. And obviously a company like Nintendo, a video game company, doesn't want you pirating their games. That's all fine and dandy. I'm not disagreeing with that, And when I say pirating, I'm not talking about, playing Mario World from 1992 or whenever that came out. Obviously that game, they've sold it many, many times. They've sold you Donkey Kong Country many times. They've sold you Mario Bros. 2 many times. So who cares about that? But Mario Odyssey, Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Kart 8, obviously they don't want you pirating that, and they have every right to go after people who do that. Fine. But there are limits, right? You can take it up to 10, but sadly Nintendo always takes it up to 20. Because it's one thing to say, hey, you broke the rules, you broke the law, you harassed people online, or you pirated games, you hacked your Switch, you did this, you did that, and we're going to remove your account. We're going to suspend your Nintendo Online account. That's one thing, right? That happens all the time. Steam does it, GOG does it, Sony does it, Microsoft does it. If you break enough rules and do really bad things, then yes, something will happen. We all understand that. But the Switch 2, like the Switch 1, is hardware. It's a piece of tech that you own. Okay, it's not a digital item like a digital game. It's something you physically own. They should not have the right to destroy it. Okay? And just because they're not literally coming to your house and taking it from you doesn't mean it's not wrong. It is wrong. Whether they do it from far away or by invading your home, which I know they're not going to do, but still, it's just as bad, in my opinion. It's like that meme that the Archer company put out a year or two ago where you see Jughead taking out a DVD and he's like, here's this DVD of a movie that I can't watch anywhere online. I'm glad I own it. No one can take it from me. And then a bunch of guys in suits come in and take it from him. In a way, that's what's happening here. Kind of. Sort of. Okay? Because a physical good is a physical good. A digital good is a digital good. Right? When we buy something digital, it's a license that we're buying. And that license can, in theory, be taken away. And it happens all the time. And yeah, that sucks. I don't like that about streaming. I don't like that about digital purchases. But that's a topic for another day. Okay? But I agree, it sucks. But that's the way that things are. You don't really own your digital goods. You're just paying for a license. But when you buy a piece of hardware, in theory, you should own it. You do own it. But I guess nowadays we don't even own that, right? Nintendo is setting some really bad precedents. If they get away with this, Sony might do the same thing. Xbox might do the same thing. Steam might do the same thing with the Steam Decks. This is really dangerous. Let's look at another example of a precedent that just took the industry by storm. Sony and the $70 video games. They put PS5 games at $70. Xbox eventually did it. Third-party publishers did it. Nintendo did it with Tears of the Kingdom. And now they're putting Mario Kart at $80. That's going to set a precedent too. Grand Theft Auto will probably be $80. And then many other games will be $80. And yeah, this hardware thing, they're going to do it. And then everyone else will do it. To be clear, on one hand, I really do love Nintendo. They have some of the best games around. They have some of the best IPs. Some of the best characters. Some of the most memorable games of all time have been made by them. I grew up with Nintendo and I still love Nintendo and I always will. But as a company sometimes, in terms of their policies and how anti-consumer they can be, they really make me angry and people should say something. We shouldn't be quiet about it. I don't know how much of an effect it will have, but it still needs to be said. And this is not their first rodeo. They do stuff like this all the time. Stuff that's really anti-consumer. They're constantly going after people for really dumb things. A lot of fans make fan games sometimes. Remember the Metroid 2 fan game? They took it down. I understand that eventually they came out with the remake, but in that moment there was no direct competition. And from what I understand, the people who made that game were not making any money off of it. And that's an important detail, right? Fan projects that make money, that's very illegal. But a fan project that's just made as a passion project and released online for people to play or watch or read for free, that's a whole nother situation, but they treat it no differently than if the person was asking money for it. It's not the same thing. And I understand that some people who know about the law will say, well, if they allow it to happen, it sets bad precedents, and then eventually this and that will happen. I'm not a lawyer, okay? I might be wrong in a lot of things. But from my point of view, I just don't understand how you can treat all cases the same. It's too much. Nintendo, instead of taking things to like a 9 or a 10, they'll take it to 11, 12, maybe even 20. They're too overzealous, they're draconian, they take very extreme measures, and they go after people that you don't really need to go after. It's unnecessary to go after YouTubers, for example, for reviewing your games maybe in a negative light, or for doing Let's Plays or whatever. There are things that just you shouldn't waste your time doing. And if you do that, if you're that extreme and you're constantly going after people, you will look bad. Okay, it's bad PR. You never want to look like the bully. I repeat, you have to protect your IPs. That's fine. You have to do it. Okay? That's how companies work, and that's fine. But don't overdo it. When it comes to being a gamer, these are very troubling times. We don't really own the stuff we buy, and not just digital, even physical stuff is in danger too. And a lot of companies are being really bad at preserving their games and respecting legacy content. Like Sony, for example, they just removed Resistance 1 and 2 from PS Plus, and it was even bad before that because the only way to play Resistance 1, 2, and 3 is via streaming only. So we got companies that are not making enough remasters, enough remakes, enough ports. We have companies that remove games from the storefronts. We have games that are always online, and then when they remove the servers, you can't play them anymore. And we have companies charging exaggerated prices for things. We went from $60 to $70 to $80 when it comes to video games. And now we have companies that are literally telling us that we don't own our hardware. Okay, Nintendo in their mind thinks that the Switch 2, even though you're paying $450 for it, or will when it comes out, you don't own it. And think about it, if they have the ability to take it away from us via an update by bricking our console, we really don't own it. Think about it. We don't own it, or we won't because it hasn't come out. We will not truly own our Switch 2. That is bad, that is dangerous. I don't know if things will ever improve. Companies are getting away with a lot of bad things lately, and a lot of people are just too quiet. And I don't know what kind of an effect making a fuss about it will have, but we need to do it. When we see companies do things like what Nintendo is doing with the Switch 2, we have to speak our mind. Whether it has an effect or not, it needs to be said. If you think EA is doing something wrong, say it. If you think Sony is being anti-consumer, not respecting their IPs, say it. If you think Nintendo is overcharging and being overzealous and not respecting people's purchases and their rights as a consumer, say it. It needs to be said. Let's look at Sega for a moment. Look at how they treat the consumer sometimes. Instead of suing and harassing people who make fan games, they hire them. Okay, the people who made Sonic Mania, Christian Whitehead, he made Sonic fan games. They saw them, they liked them, they hired him. What does Nintendo do? They give people cease and desist orders. And remember, the best way to vote is with our wallets. Companies will always take notice when you don't buy their stuff. So boycott when you feel the need to. If you're angry at Nintendo over the price of the Switch 2, if you're angry over the $80 games, or more importantly, if you're angry over this user agreement situation and then breaking your console, hey, just don't buy the Switch 2, or buy it used. That way they won't get a penny out of you. Because it's only if you buy it new and from a partner retailer that they get money. But if you buy it on eBay, or from a friend who doesn't want it anymore, they're not going to see a single dime from that purchase. That is a right that you have, and you can exercise it if you want. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. It was a bit of a rambly video. I wasn't following a script. It's just something, this happened. It was a big thing, and I wanted to get my opinion out there. I wanted to say my piece on it. Feel free to check out some of our recent stuff. We actually made a video about the Switch 2 controversy, about it being maybe too overpriced. I made a reaction to the Switch 2 review. I made a Donkey Kong video recently too, and we got way more Nintendo content coming in the future. So if you like Nintendo and video games in general, if you're a nostalgic person, if you like the 2000s, the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, etc. If you love pop culture and nerd culture, TV, movies, video games, comics, toys, collectibles, then this is your channel. Stay tuned for more content, and I'll see you guys next time.